Today we are going to explore the military might of Africa and see if they might fare well in the upcoming World War III. Here are the top 10 most powerful militaries in Africa. But first, here's a fun fact about Africa. Did you know that its population is expected to triple by 2100, whereas Europe's population is expected to be more than halved in the same time? This will greatly affect Africa's military might and GDP, as they will just have too many people. I made a video about this that you can check out over here, but without further ado, let's get to the top 10 most powerful militaries in Africa. At number 10, we have Kenya, with a defense budget of $1.1 billion and over 50,000 active troops. Kenya has a highly trained army and air force and is known for its peacekeeping missions in the region. After independence in 1963, Kenya was mainly involved in regional peacekeeping efforts, such as mediating conflicts in neighboring countries like Somalia, South Sudan, and Uganda. This has enabled them to have combat-ready and very well-trained anti-terrorist organizations that help fight the Islamist extremist group Al-Shabaab. Kenya has also contributed forces to the UN peacekeeping mission in Congo and other regions. At number 9, we have Tunisia, with a defense budget of $1.15 billion and over 90,000 active troops. Tunisia has a modern military with advanced weapon system and a strong air force. During World War II, Tunisia was occupied by German and Italian forces and was the site of several significant battles between the Allies and the Axis powers. Other than that, Tunisia has mainly been involved in peacekeeping operations in Congo and Darfur. Tunisia has also taken part in anti-terrorism operations in the region, including operations against extremist groups in the Maghreb and Sahel. At number 8, we have Ethiopia, with a defense budget of $1.8 billion and 162,000 active troops. Ethiopia has a strong army and air force and is one of the largest troop contributors to peacekeeping missions in Africa. Ethiopia is the only country in Africa that was never colonized due to its diplomacy efforts with neighboring colonial powers and its strong military. In recent decades, Ethiopia has been involved in several internal conflicts, including the Ogaden War with Somalia in the late 1970s and the Ethiopian Civil War, which lasted from 1991 to 2001. In addition, Ethiopia has been involved in cross-border conflicts with neighboring countries including Eritrea and Somalia. Most recently, in November 2020, Ethiopia was involved in a military conflict with Tigray People's Liberation Front, the TPLF, in the Tigray region of the country, which resulted in significant casualties and displacements. Such a history of war and threats from neighboring country and within the country has resulted in Ethiopia paying great attention to its military capabilities and gaining tremendous support from its allies. At number 7, we have North Sudan, with a defense budget of $2 billion and over 200,000 active troops. Sudan has a well-equipped army and modern weaponry and is a major player in regional security and stability. Although North Sudan is a relatively new country, they have maintained a strong military due to its horrifying past. Sudan has went through 2 catastrophic civil wars. The first civil war lasted from 1955 to 1972, and the second civil war lasted from 1983 to 2005, which resulted in the separation of North Sudan and South Sudan in 2011. During Omar al-Bashir's reign, North Sudan had a number of nations supporting them during the civil wars. This included China, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Chad, Eritrea, Zimbabwe, and Iran. These countries supported both military aid and financial aid that greatly helped them in their current military state. South Sudan, on the other hand, was supported by the EU, UN, East Africa, and the United States, but they mainly received some financial support and humanitarian aid. At number 6, we have South Africa, with a defense budget of over $3.5 billion and 70,000 active troops. South Africa used to be number 1 because they were the only African country with nuclear weapons, but they dismantled their weapons in the early 1990s. South African armed forces were involved in conflict in Angola and Namibia in support of anti-communist and pro-apartheid racist groups during the apartheid era. This is where their special forces truly started to develop as a combatant to enforce apartheid rule. In the post-apartheid era, South Africa has taken part in peacekeeping missions in Africa, including deployments to Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Sudan. South African troops have also been involved in anti-piracy operations off the coast of Somalia. In recent years, South Africa has also been involved in regional peacekeeping efforts, such as the African Union mission in Sudan, and has played a role in mediating conflicts in African countries such as Lesotho and Zimbabwe. At number 5, we have Nigeria, with a defense budget of $5.5 billion and 223,000 active troops. Nigeria has a large and diverse military with a strong army, navy, and air force. In post-independence era, Nigeria has been involved in peacekeeping missions in Africa, including deployments in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Darfur, Chad, and Cameroon. In recent years, Nigeria has been involved in anti-terrorism operations and international security operations against the Islamist extremist group Boko Haram in Nigeria and in neighboring countries. At number 4, we have Angola. They once had a defense budget of over $6.7 billion and 200,000 active troops, but in 2014 they recently reduced their budget to $1 billion and have around 107,000 active troops. Angola has a strong navy and air force and has been increasing its military capabilities in recent years after their dark history of civil war. Angola gained its independence from the Portuguese in 1975, but the Portuguese made sure to divide the country and leave them in shambles. Angola was plunged into civil war immediately after that lasted from 1975 to 2002. Angola has also contributed troops to peacekeeping missions in Africa, such as the UN mission in Democratic Republic of Congo. At number 3, we have Morocco, with a defense budget of $6.3 billion and 340,000 active troops. Morocco has a well-equipped army and modern weaponry, making it a strong military power in North Africa. Morocco is also the only African country that shares a border with Europe, as there are 2 Spanish enclaves considered Spanish territory in Morocco. This has led to constant training and support of the Moroccan army. In the 20th century, Morocco was involved in the Spanish Civil War and World War II, in which Moroccan troops fought alongside Allied forces. In the post-World War II era, Morocco was involved in the Algerian War of Independence and in the conflict over Western Sahara, a former Spanish colony that is claimed by the Moroccans and the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. Morocco has also contributed troops to peacekeeping missions in Africa, such as the UN mission in the Congo. At number 2, we have Egypt, with a defense budget of over $6.1 billion and over 1 million troops. Egypt has a large and well-equipped military and is a force to be reckoned with. After its independence, Egypt was led by a series of military leaders that took pride in developing its military power. Egypt was involved with multiple wars with Israel, including the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, the 1956 Suez Crisis, and the 1967 Six-Day War. With such a strong adversary, Egypt knows the importance of having a powerful military. In recent years, Egypt has also become involved in military actions in the ongoing conflict in Libya, providing support to the Libyan National Army in its efforts to counter militant groups and maintain stability in the country. Egypt has also been involved in counter-terrorism operations in the Sinai Peninsula and the Western Desert, where it has been targeting extremist groups that pose a threat to national security. This makes Egypt a tremendous force given all its experience. And finally, at number 1, we have Algeria, with a defense budget of over $23.9 billion and over 280,000 active troops. Algeria has a strong air force and modern weaponry, making it a formidable military power in North Africa. The Algerian army fought one of the bloodiest wars in its fight for freedom against the French. The war lasted 8 years and gave Algeria a lot of experience. Now, I know you might be wondering, Egypt is number 2 but it has 1 million troops, whereas Algeria is number 1 but it only has 280,000 troops. Well, this is because of the military budget. And also, Algeria plans to increase its military spending to $99 billion as of 2023. The boost in Algeria's military spending comes amid tensions with neighboring Morocco over Western Sahara and Rabat's ties with Israel. Aside from that, Algeria has also sent peacekeeping forces to the UN. In regards to the upcoming World War III, Almost every country in Africa has experienced some sort of war or conflict in the past that has developed some level of military preparedness. But, and it's a big but, African nations know the true horrors of war, so they value peace a lot more. This has led most African countries to seek diplomatic relationships and try and maintain peace within the region, which is a no-brainer. The last thing anyone wants is war, except for a few bullies, wink wink. My guess is Africa will just stay out of the war and try and focus on themselves. Because let's be real here, if World War III were to happen, it probably wouldn't be their war to fight. However, there's one big but we're all forgetting about, and that's the Congo. If you are wondering why most of the countries I have mentioned have sent troops to the Congo, then get ready for a big shocker. Congo is actually the richest country in terms of resources, yet it's one of the poorest in terms of economic wealth in the world. Crazy, right? So naturally, everyone wants a piece of the action. Congo is one of the only countries that Western powers are so desperate to control, and so far they have gone through extreme measures to do so. This may be a factor in World War III or any future wars. Check out this detailed video I made on the Congo right here. Fair warning, it's not for the faint of heart, but it's a must-watch. So there you have it, folks. Do you agree with this list and its ranking? Do you agree with my comments on World War III? Let us know in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching. Till next time.